internet and fewer distractions, this was simpler. But in today's world, with so many things screaming for our attention, it seems much harder to steer our own future. That's why we've put together some practical tips to help you take charge of your life, even in this busy, connected world. Let's explore how you can confidently shape your own path without depending on others. This video is more than an hour long and is about how to find peace within yourself by following the ideas of Stoicism. We will talk about a lot of different things that, if you really apply them, will make your life a lot better. To start, I want to say that this video will be useful for your life. For the next few minutes, we'll show you how to be happy through amor fati, which means learning to accept everything that life throws at us. We will look at the dichotomy of life, which is a powerful tool that can help us make choices and find serenity in the middle of chaos. To keep tranquility and clarity in our lives, we will also find anti-Stoic habits that we should avoid. We will also learn how to incorporate the Stoic practice, develop inner strength, and become masters of our own lives. Using Stoicism as our guide, we will learn how to use Marcus Aurelius's reflections to make our days full and useful, while also learning the art of not putting things off. It can be hard to find peace and meaning in today's crazy world, but don't worry, Stoicism has the answer. Learn how to establish a daily habit that will bring you unrivaled balance, growth, and serenity as you explore the wisdom and usefulness of this old theory. As you try to live a better life, Stoicism and people like Epicurus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius can help you. Philosophies like these have been around for a long time and can still help you get stronger, calmer, and happier. Are you ready to change your life? Come on this journey of self-discovery with us as we talk about how to make a morning and evening routine that will help you reach your goals. Every morning, get up with a strong will and a sense of energy. Think about the 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These are the moral standards that will help you make brave choices and always look for balance in all parts of your life. Being thankful will help you a lot. Be thankful for all the good things, people, and events that make your life better. You will learn that being grateful makes you happy and frees you from any sense of being unhappy. Look forward to the day with a strong attitude. Face possible problems and wisely prepare to change and grow in the face of hardship as a form of negative thinking. Somber magic will come to life through your work. Write down your thoughts, feelings, and notes in a notebook. This will shine like a lighthouse of wisdom and direction, showing you the way even when things get tough. Get ready to look tough and classy in front of the world. In a world full of distractions, learn how to stay focused and get things done. Always treat others with fairness and kindness, and your heart will be open to a greater knowledge of what it means to be human. When you're stressed, keep your cool and remember that you can only control what you can reach. You will be led by wisdom. When night falls, it's time to rest. Think about what happened during the day, learn from it, and move forward. Accept that you aren't perfect and make a promise to always get better. If you plan for tomorrow and walk a strong and brave road, you will have a future full of wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. Use Stoicism as a tool to build your life the way you want it. Make your path to success unique by finding the method that works for your goals, values, and daily obligations. Take Stoicism and make it your own. Keep practicing Stoicism because you love it, and make a plan that you stick to. The way of Stoicism leads to change and growth. Find out how to make Stoicism work in every part of your life. Bring wisdom, courage, fairness, and moderation into your job, relationships, and personal projects. In a world full of
It's simple. If you only have Medicare Parts A and B, there is no limit to how much you could pay.
change and uncertainty, Stoicism will help you stay balanced, strong, and at Accept that your life has a reason and is clear. The stern road by being strong and sure of what you want to do. Your wise friend will be with you most of the time, and every day will be a chance to learn and grow. In your search for a full and worthwhile life, may clarity and serenity always be with you. You can wake up with a heart full of joy and plenty if you practice thanks. The four cardinal values will guide you. Focus on all the good things in your life that make it better. You will learn that respect and thanks can get rid of any feeling of unhappiness or a strong wish. When you are truly thankful, you will start the day feeling full and happy, and you will be able to focus on what matters most. Develop the habit of being thankful for all the good things in your life, and always say thank you for things that have helped you move forward. They should all be included in your thanks. Visualizing bad things will help you get ready for the day. When you think about the problems and issues that might come up, don't worry. You're ready to face them with wisdom, courage, fairness, and moderation. By thinking about these situations and what might happen, you will build up a quiet strength that will help you change and grow when things go wrong. With this practice, you'll be able to handle the unknowns of the day without getting upset when things go wrong. Journal, very important. It's now time to write down your thoughts and wisdom. Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius found that writing in a notebook was very helpful. Set aside a few minutes every morning to write down your thoughts, feelings, and notes. You'll make a lighthouse of wisdom and love that will help you through the trials of modern life if you do this. Everyday life is always changing, and there may be times when we have to show how determined we are. Don't worry though, Stoicism can help. By using a set of Stoic techniques, you can keep your balance, build your resolve, and start your life's journey with grace and strength. Remember that you have wisdom within you when you're under stress. Use your mind and time to get away from things. Remember to focus on the things you can control and let go of the things you can't. You will be able to handle stress with calm, strength, and wisdom if you do this. The most important thing in life is to categorize and separate things so that you can see what is outside of your control and what is within your control. Where can I find good and bad? Not outside of what you can't control, but inside of you and the choices you make. Keep Epictetus's words in mind as you work to be grateful and strong. Stoicism will show you the way with its timeless wisdom. Know that every day is a chance to learn, grow, and get better when you wake up. On the stern road to a full and worthwhile life, you should live your life with focus and purpose. Turn things that are distracting you into chances to get things done. Today's fast-paced life is full of things that can confuse you. But as a strong Stoic, you work on the virtue of temperance by being self-disciplined and avoiding excess. If these things happen, don't fight them. Instead, gently bring your mind back to the job at hand. You will feel calmer inside and be able to use your mind's power to reach your goals. Show the Stoic values of justice, wisdom, and kindness when you're with other people. Every interaction gives you the chance to leave a good image that lasts. Think about how what you say and do affects the people around you. Learn, grow, and gain a deeper understanding of what it's like to be human with each encounter. Today, I will have to deal with rudeness, disrespect, disloyalty, anger, and greed. This is all because the criminal doesn't know what is right or wrong. But for me, I've known for a long time what good is and how noble it is, what evil is and how small it is, and what the criminal, who is my brother, is. Not in the sense of a physical being, but as a human being with some divine power. So, none of this can hurt me because I can't be a part of anything humiliating. My brother and I were both born to work together, just like a man's two hands, feet, eyes.
In winter's favorite town, alpine beauty is revered. Old charm is preserved. And fun is some.
Or upper and lower rows of teeth. I can't be mad or upset with him either. It goes against the laws of nature for people to block each other, and anger or dislike is a type of blocking. Marcus Aurelius shows us how to deal with problems and grow stronger. In life, we face challenges we didn't expect, especially when things are going badly. These challenges can either make us stronger or break us. See these difficulties as chances for growth, brave Stoics. Face problems with ease by developing the guts and wisdom to do so. When you do negative thinking, trust the inner strength you've built up by following the calm way. You will learn from your mistakes and use them as steps toward personal growth and happiness. If you do this, get ready for a night full of wisdom and thought. Now that the sun is going down and the day is ending, look inside yourself. Think about what happened during the day and write down any problems, choices, or lessons you learned. Seneca once said, "I will constantly keep watch over myself, and even more useful, I will review each day, because this is what makes us evil." None of us look back on our own lives. We only reflect on what we are about to do. Forgive yourself, and then work on getting better. Learn to forgive yourself with kindness and understanding. Personal growth is a process that never ends. Take responsibility for your mistakes and work to get better. As you continue to grow on your silent road, work on finding inner peace and accepting yourself. Using the wisdom you gained throughout the day, set goals for the new dawn. Make plans for the next day and make sure that you use calm traits in your choices, actions, and encounters. You will set an example for a peaceful and meaningful life this way. Stay true to the principles of Stoicism and spend the evening relaxing before going to sleep. Do things to help you relax, like deep breathing or quiet thought. Relax your body and mind to get rid of the stress of the day. After a good night's sleep, you'll be ready to start each new day as a chance to learn and grow. The world can give us both the best and the worst things. A lot of the time we find health, happiness, love, and joy. On the other hand, we often experience sorrow, pain, death, sickness, and bad luck. Fair or unfavorable, life seems to flow like a river that we can't control and must often accept. Epicurus stated, "Don't fight the strings of fate, embrace them, for it is only in accepting them that you find inner peace." Accepting or embracing one's own fate is called amor fati in the language of Stoicism. This means seeing your life, with all of its ups and downs, as the best gift you could have gotten. It sounds easy to say, but it's not possible to do. What could make us love pain? How can we show thanks for things like the death of a loved one? How can we see beauty in pain? Some people might have thought the Stoics were crazy when they came up with the idea of amor fati, but that couldn't be further from the truth. They were very sure of what they were saying. Why? Because the best way to become a good person and be truly happy, like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, or Epicurus, was to love your life to the fullest, with all of its good and bad times. Marcus Aurelius said, "Love your fate, no matter what form it takes, because only through the acceptance of each moment can you find true serenity." Seneca added, "Amor fati is to love the totality of your existence, including your mistakes and failures, as they are opportunities to learn and grow in wisdom." But difficult doesn't mean impossible. It just means a lot of work is needed. Remember that the most important things are the ones that are hard to get. We should give amor fati our all, because it has a lot to do with our happiness. I'll try to help you follow the concept of amor fati in this video so that you can be better and happy. I'm going to split the video in two for this. First, I'll try to explain what a Stoic's fate means and why you should love them. After that, I'll give you 5 tips on how to follow this philosophy and stay true to it. Before we start, I'd appreciate it if you shared this video because it helps more people understand this philosophy. Turn on the bell and subscribe if you don't want.
Treat yourself to rich Ghirardelli chocolate and luscious caramel.
Miss any movies. Stoics in the past thought that there was no such thing as chance. They thought that the gods made the world's necessary and logical rules, which made everything work. In this way, they saw the world as a whole, with all of its parts working together perfectly. For this reason, everything that happened in the world had a reason, an explanation, or a role. Everything was governed by a logical rule. Stoics believe that the same logical rule that controls the world is also inside each person, in their mind. This helps the person understand what is sensible and good. So, people who follow what their morality tells them are reasonable and good, while people who go against the law of the world, which is in their mind, are illogical and bad. We can call the way things turned out for each of us by the universe fate. We each have a future that fits into the UN universe as a whole. Because of this, everything that happens to us, good or bad, is important and has a reason, even if we can't understand or control it. Even if we can't always see it, everything makes sense and has a purpose. Because of this, even when things are at their worst, we should try to see beyond ourselves. For us, living in serenity means accepting the way things are. It means to love one's future in that sense. But it's very important to know the difference between agreeing to something and quitting. Resignation is a bad thing, because it means we won't do anything about what makes us unhappy. On the other hand, acceptance is a good thing. It lets us see what is and decide what to do based on what happens. A Stoic doesn't want to give up and instead looks for ways to accept things as they are. And the stern duality of control is at the heart of acceptance. The things that happen in the world, like good health or bad health, disasters or miracles, life or death, are mostly out of our control. These things can't be changed, so they shouldn't stir up our hearts. But what we can control is how we feel about what happens and how strong our will is. Epictetus said it best. The will can control itself, but nothing else can. We have a lot of power over what we do and how we respond to the things that happen to us and the things that we want. We can either accept and face our future as the road that has been set out for us and where we must find happiness, or we can run away from it. This is what Stoic freedom means, the choice to either accept our future and match our will with virtue and good, or to reject our reality and seek vice and evil. Epictetus said, "The will is the source of all good and evil." Marcus Aurelius agreed, saying, "Things that are truly good, like virtue and justice, are within man's power and given by the gods, so he can avoid them if he so desires." It is always up to us to decide whether to seek good or bad in any given circumstances. We can either give up, become illogical, stop taking care of ourselves, and get mad at everything and everyone when we are sick, or we can fight to get better and live the best life possible, even when we are sick. The 4 Stoic qualities can be mastered if we seek virtue and good and follow our feelings. This means that everything that happens in our life, good or bad, should make us better and add to our lives. We will be happy when things go well, but we need to remember that they won't last forever. Bad times will try us and make us stronger. They will also make us better people, even though they are very hard. Finally, keep in mind that these bad times will pass too, and they are just as important, if not more so, than the good times. So, in order to practice amor fati, we also need to be brave. We have to be strong to deal with all the storms that come our way. In this way, someone who practices amor fati will also be able to control the virtues of wisdom and justice. They will learn to appreciate each moment for what it is worth, and most importantly, they will understand the universal law that controls everything. This law makes our unique future the best gift we can receive on our path to a full life and true happiness. As you saw in the theory of amor fati, it puts the 4 Stoic principles in action and asks us to be our best selves. It entails accepting our own future.
Dear Minnesota, I'm Akil, a student at the University of Minnesota, Rochester. I'm a swimmer, musician, volunteer, and dog dad. I pack a lot into a day.
And realizing that our life is the best and most beautiful chance we have to pursue virtue and a full life. Don't you think that a life without struggle and the search for happiness would not be worth living? Also, isn't it true that we can't be happy without making sacrifices and give up without accepting what we've been given? To achieve what reason tells us, we must love our own future and match our will. This is the patient way to get to real, complete happiness. I'd like to share some words from the past that talk about amor fati. Seneca says, "Fate leads those who accept it and drags those who refuse to acknowledge it." He also says that no one is less lucky than the person who is forgotten by hardship because he doesn't get the chance to be tried. Marcus Aurelius says, "It is human to love and seek what fate has given and prepared for him." Epictetus could add, "Do not try to make things happen the way you want them to. If you don't wish for things to happen the way they do, your life will go well." What do you believe about the Stoic idea of amor fati? Are you on board with your future? Is there something going on in your life that you can't accept? Is there one that you accepted just the way it happened? I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. A person who knows the chains that bind him will be free because he will be aware that he can break them. Part 2. Our world moves quickly and is always changing. Because of this, we often let bad habits take over, which are not only useless, but also harmful. The Stoics say that we should focus on what we can control and free ourselves from the chains of unchecked feelings, lust, and impulsive thoughts. Today, I'm going to talk about 6 bad habits I used to have that a lot of people have these days. It's possible for these habits to get in the way of our mental peace, personal growth, and living a good life. I want you to be honest with yourself and look at yourself from a third-person point of view before we go over these things. This will help you figure out which of these 6 bad habits is hurting you, and then you can face them head on. The first behavior is putting off plans. We all tend to pick up this sneaky habit, even though it might seem harmless. However, it has very bad effects. Putting off something that should or could be done now is called procrastination. While we keep thinking about what needs to be done, we don't do it. This wastes time and energy. Stoicism tells us that putting things off can make us not meet our personal and professional obligations, hurt the quality of our work, hurt our image, and make people not trust us. Stoics believed that putting things off was one of the worst things someone could do to themselves because they valued honesty and doing what they were supposed to do. Putting things off causes more stress and worry as dates get closer and tasks pile up. Our mental and physical health are both affected by this ongoing stress, which keeps us from having a clear mind and a peaceful mind. Let's say you need to finish an important job by a certain date. You put off and leave it until the last minute, rather than breaking the work up into doable chunks and working on it steadily. The worry and overload are getting worse, and you're having a hard time meeting the goal. Doing the work and planning it is a favor you do for yourself. It makes more sense to spread out the work over several days than to do it all at once. Putting off responsibilities is a bad habit that goes against the principles of Stoicism. It wastes time, leaves obligations unmet, and causes more stress and worry. We can fight it by making plans, being self-disciplined, and keeping our eyes on our beliefs and duties. To prevent this, I suggest that you never make a promise when you're feeling very emotional, especially when you're happy. The reason for this is that decisions are often made based on how someone feels at the time. Before making a decision, think about it carefully when you're by yourself. Avoid making hasty choices and don't promise anything when you're happy. The second bad habit is lying. Many people in today's society lie all the time, but it's a very bad habit. They lie because they are afraid of being caught, and they will eventually be caught. Lies hurt the truth and your honor. The Stoics.
I can put this together without kicking it once.
Thought that being honest and telling the truth were important parts of living a good life. Because when we lie, we move away from these values and weaken our character. Also, lying hurts relationships and makes people lose trust in each other. People can lose trust in us when we lie. It's hard to get back the trust that was lost after a lie is found out. The Stoics believed that relationships should be based on trust and respect for each other. When we lie, we create a different world that can trap us in a maze of lies, which can lead to a circle of lies that gets more complicated and tiring over time. This causes stress and worry that aren't needed. For instance, let's say you see sensationalist news on social media and share it right away without checking it out or thinking about where it came from. It turns out that the news wasn't true after all. You feel lied to and ashamed. Sharing the news also spread false information, which could have had a bad effect on other people's thoughts and actions. Believing everything we hear is a bad habit that stops us from thinking critically and leaves us open to being manipulated and swayed in the wrong direction. It's important to check facts, learn how to compare and contrast sources, and most importantly, make our own decisions. The modern world and other people will use and influence someone who doesn't have their own standards or the power to use their own conclusions. The fourth trait is not being able to talk to other people. Communication skills are important for both personal and business ties. We don't seem to value good language and conversation skills as much as we used to. People today have bad talks because they aren't interested in each other and don't really listen to what the other person is saying. Misunderstandings and fights can happen when people can't talk to each other well. The Stoics know how important it is for people to get along and work together. These ideas can be put at risk by bad communication. We will have trouble sharing our wants and feelings if we don't know how to talk to each other well. This could make people unhappy, angry, and frustrated. Being honest and expressing yourself are important to Stoics, and they think these things are important for good talks. We naturally want to connect with others and talk to them clearly. People should trade valuable things with each other during conversations. Talking to someone should be useful and not pointless. Not knowing how to talk to people is a bad habit that can cause problems, confusion, and trouble sharing our wants and feelings. I think that reading or watching useful content will help you improve your language and speaking skills. One thing that helped me a lot was practicing active listening. Spend less time thinking about what you'll say next, and more time paying attention to what the other person is saying. This will make the other person feel important, and the conversation will run better. If you keep practicing, you'll be able to communicate perfectly. The fifth practice is always comparing yourself to other people. I know you're very competitive, even if you don't mean to be. You always want to be better than other people, but this can hurt your self-esteem and make you unhappy with your life. Comparing ourselves to others all the time can make us unhappy and dissatisfied because there is always someone who seems to have more success, money, or ability than us. Instead of always comparing ourselves to others, the Stoics teach us to work on our own growth and be grateful for what we have. Hey there, fellow seekers of serenity. Welcome back to our channel, where today we're delving deep into the ancient philosophy of Stoicism. In this fast-paced world filled with constant flux, Stoicism offers timeless wisdom to help us weather life's storms with unwavering calmness. and resilience. Picture this: a world where nothing external can shake your inner peace, where the chaos around you feels like ripples on a tranquil pond. That's the essence of Stoicism, a philosophy not just about enduring life, but thriving in it, unshaken by its uncertainties. So grab your mental armor, because today we're unveiling 8 Stoic principles that'll equip you with the tools to navigate life's choppy waters while staying anchored in tranquility. These principles aren't just philosophical musings, they're practical guidelines that have stood the test of time, ready to empower you in your daily life. From the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius to the teachings of Epictetus, Stoicism isn't just a relic of the past, it's a beacon of resilience, offering insights that resonate even in our modern hustle. So sit back, relax, and get ready to unlock the secrets of Stoicism that'll transform the way you perceive and navigate the world. Are you ready to embrace an unshakable mindset? Let's embark on this journey together and discover how these 8 Stoic principles can be your armor against life's chaos. Without further ado, let's dive into the first principle. Principle 1. Focus on what you can control. Picture this: a ship sailing through a storm. The winds rage, the waves crash, yet the captain remains unfazed, focusing solely on what they can control: their navigation, their responses, and the safety of their crew. That's the essence of the first Stoic principle, focusing on what's within our sphere of control. In a world where unpredictability reigns, Stoicism reminds us that much of our suffering arises from trying to manipulate circumstances beyond our influence. Think about it: traffic jams, the weather, or someone else's opinions. These are elements outside our realm of control. Instead, Stoicism urges us to channel our energy towards mastering our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Let's break it down further. Imagine a work situation where the outcome depends on various factors, some within and some beyond your control. Stoicism encourages focusing on your efforts, your dedication, and your attitude towards the task, rather than fixating on the external variables. It's about embracing a proactive mindset, accepting what you cannot change, and channeling your energy into areas where your actions truly make a difference. By doing so, you reclaim power over your life's direction, fostering a sense of inner peace and resilience. Remember, the key to mastering this principle lies in discernment, recognizing what's within your control and what lies beyond it. It's not about suppressing concerns, but rather redirecting focus towards constructive actions. So, as we journey through these Stoic principles, keep this first one close to heart. Focus on what you can control, steer your ship through life's storms, and embrace the tranquility that comes with understanding the power of your influence. Ready for more Stoic insights? Let's set sail towards the next principle. Principle 2. Embrace impermanence. Imagine standing on the shore, watching the waves roll in and out, each one unique, never to return in the same way. That's the essence of the second Stoic principle, embracing impermanence. Stoicism invites us to acknowledge the fleeting nature of everything in life. Just as the seasons change, our lives, experiences, and emotions are in a perpetual state of flux. Consider the moments of joy, birthdays celebrated, achievements unlocked, or moments of blissful connection. And yet these moments are transient, ephemeral, like a passing breeze. Now think of the times when life felt heavy: loss, heartbreak, or setbacks. Stoicism doesn't dismiss these emotions. Instead, it teaches you to accept them as integral parts of the human experience. So, as we delve deeper into the Stoic teachings, let's carry this understanding. Life's beauty lies in its impermanence, Embrace it, cherish the moments, and find solace in the rhythm of change. Ready for more profound Stoic wisdom? Let's embark on the next principle. Principle 3, practice negative visualization. Imagine for a moment visualizing the loss of something cherished, a loved one, a job, or a prized possession. This may seem counterintuitive, yet it's a powerful Stoic practice known as negative visualization. Stoicism encourages us to mentally prepare for adversity by imagining the absence of what we hold dear. It's not about dwelling on pessimism, but about fostering gratitude and mental resilience. By practicing negative visualization, Stoics believed we could temper our attachment to things, preparing ourselves emotionally for the inevitable ups and downs of life. It's not about inviting fear, but about cultivating gratitude and resilience. This practice helps us savor the present, recognize blessings amidst challenges, and fortify ourselves mentally for life's uncertainties. So, as we explore these Stoic principles, remember the power of negative visualization. Embrace gratitude for what you have. Envision the absence to appreciate the presence, and cultivate the resilience to navigate life's fluctuations. Ready for more Stoic insights? Let's venture into the next principle. Principle 4. Cultivate virtue and inner goodness. At the heart of Stoicism lies the call to cultivate virtue and inner goodness, a principle that transcends time and remains deeply relevant in our lives today. Stoics believed that true fulfillment comes not from external achievements or possessions, but from nurturing qualities that embody moral excellence. Imagine a life where kindness is a reflex, where honesty is a default, and where courage guides your actions. This is the Stoic pursuit of living a virtuous life. By prioritizing inner goodness over external validation, we find a sense of fulfillment that isn't reliant on circumstances. It's about the journey towards becoming the best versions of ourselves. So, as we dive deeper into Stoic philosophy, let's carry the torch of virtue. Let's strive to embody these qualities, enrich our lives, and contribute positively to the world around us. Ready for more Stoic wisdom? Let's uncover the next principle. Principle 5. Acceptance of fate. Imagine standing at the crossroads of life, facing circumstances beyond your influence. That's where the Stoic principle of acceptance of fate comes into play, a profound teaching on embracing what is beyond our control. Stoicism doesn't advocate resignation or passivity in the face of adversity. Instead, it encourages us to accept the reality of situations that we cannot change. Consider this. There are events in life, illnesses, natural disasters, or unexpected twists that are part of a larger cosmic order, events that we cannot alter. By accepting fate, we release ourselves from the burden of trying to change what cannot be changed. Instead, we focus on our response to these events, finding solace in our ability to navigate through them. Principle 6. Live in accordance with nature. Imagine a world where your thoughts and actions are in sync with the natural flow of the universe, where you're attuned to the rhythm of life itself. That's the essence of the Stoic principle, living in accordance with nature. Stoicism invites us to align ourselves not just with the external world, but with our inner nature. It's about understanding our place in the grand tapestry of existence. Principle 7. Develop resilience through adversity. Picture yourself standing amidst life's tempests, facing hardships that seem insurmountable. Yet instead of being crushed by the weight of adversity, you emerge fortified. This embodies the essence of the Stoic principle, developing resilience through adversity. Stoicism invites us not to see challenges as barriers, but as opportunities for growth, as crucibles that refine our resilience and fortitude. By approaching adversity with a Stoic mindset, We learn to embrace the hidden lessons within hardships, reframing setbacks as opportunities for personal evolution. Principle 8. Practice momentary reflection. Lastly, Stoicism encourages daily reflection, taking moments throughout the day to reflect on our actions, thoughts, and emotions helps us maintain self-awareness and course correct when needed. And there you have it, 8 Stoic principles that can serve as a guiding light in our modern lives. By incorporating these principles into our daily routines, we can cultivate resilience, inner peace, and a deeper appreciation for life's moments. Thank you for watching. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more insightful content. Stay stoic and stay resilient. Until next time.
Attention! This is an important message for those on Medicare. The annual enrollment period ends December 7th.
Imagine living a life unaffected by the chaos of the world, resistant to the urban flow of fortune, and strong enough to withstand the difficulties that life will surely bring your way. It sounds like an impossible dream, doesn't it? Would you believe me if I told you that the key to that kind of life has been around for thousands of years, just waiting for you to find it? Welcome to a very special video, a complete guide to the world of Stoicism. We are frequently carried away by the waves of emotions, distractions, and worldly desires in our chaotic modern lives, which are often accompanied by noise and hurry. Stoicism offers a way to find inner peace, self-control, and mental toughness. It is firm and immovable like a rock. Mastering the art of letting go is the first thing we need to do on this road. You will learn not only how to tell the difference between things you can control and things you can't, but also how to let go of the things you can't control. We can clear out our inner and outer worlds through Stoicism and minimalism, making room for more meaningful activities. Making room in our lives for what really counts is the first step. The next step is to strengthen our willpower. Building self-discipline is the Stoic way to become great. It's about developing values, controlling your urges, and living a life that doesn't follow society's ever-changing whims, but instead follows unchanging principles that make you happy. Now that we are focused, we face the problems in life head-on. That's where the mind that can't be broken comes in. We're going to talk about 10 strong lessons that will give you the mental toughness you need to get through life's big waves. Being optimistic isn't the point. The point is to build strong mental models that help you stay strong when things go wrong. Last but not least, get ready to free your mind. You will learn 10 life-changing lessons from Stoicism that will help you break free from the limits you put on yourself. You can take control of your emotions and actions and drastically improve the quality of your life if you know how to pull the right mental buttons. You can become impervious to the chaos of the outside world by following the Stoic advice we'll discuss today. It gives you a peace and happiness that nothing outside of yourself can take away. It's a trip to learn the art of living a life full of virtue, knowledge, and unbreakable strength. Now, take a deep breath. Prepare to learn, feel more confident, and gain freedom as we explore the modern-day Stoics' knowledge. What if you woke up in a peaceful place where everything you own has a place and a purpose? Your heart is happy and your mind is clear. You know that the only things you can control are your thoughts and deeds, so you can face the storms of life with a strong heart. It's not impossible to reach these seemingly impossible goals. In fact, the way to a meaningful life is at the heart of both minimalism and Stoicism, two philosophies that were created hundreds of years apart. Welcome to Minimalism and Stoicism, letting go for a meaningful life. In this video, we'll start a journey that will help you find a life that you not only live, but also love. First, let's talk about the growing modern minimalist trend. Minimalism is more than just a style, it's a way of life. It's about getting rid of the things that aren't important, the junk that makes our thoughts and places heavy, and focused on the things that make our lives better. Minimalism started as an art trend that emphasized realism and simplicity in the middle of the 20th century. It slowly crept into many areas of culture, such as music, building, and way of life. People are turning to minimalism to get back their time, space, and mental focus. They are discovering that getting rid of the physical mess helps them build relationships, follow their hobbies, and enjoy a level of depth that material things can't provide. Now, let's go back in time to the busy streets of ancient Athens, where Stoicism first appeared around the 3rd century BC. Like minimalism, Stoicism is about making things simpler, but its main focus is on making things simpler inside. The philosophy teaches that the best way to live a happy life is to build self-control, logic, and ethics. Stoicism helps people figure out what they can control and what they can't. It encourages people to focus on what they can control and let go of what they can't. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus, 3 Stoic philosophers, taught us that what makes us happy is not what is happening around us, but rather our perceptions and responses to it. Letting go is what connects minimalism and Stoicism. Minimalism tells us to get rid of unnecessary things in our bodies, and Stoicism teaches us how to let go of mental loads and ties. Both philosophies are based on the idea that there is freedom in simplicity and separation, which means freedom to live a meaningful, happy life. We will learn a lot about the subtleties of both minimalism and Stoicism in this film. We'll talk about where they came from, what they stand for, and how they can improve people's lives. We will also talk about how to apply these philosophies to our everyday lives and compare and contrast them. For example, case studies and anecdotes will show us how these ideas have changed the lives of real people. Finally, we will talk about what we have learned and encourage you to start using parts of minimalism and Stoicism that work for you. As we begin this illuminating trip through the worlds of minimalism and Stoicism, get ready to have your ideas about what it means to live a fulfilling life challenged. To live a meaningful life, you need to plan ahead, be good, and be brave enough to let go of what isn't important. Let's go down this road together. Now, let's get into the first part of our conversation, which is about what minimalism is. The minimalist movement as we know it today did not start by itself. Like many other art forms that came out in the late 1950s and early 1960s, it has its roots in music and visual arts. It was not thought that art had to be complicated in order to be meaningful, so these types of art focused on using simple things. As time went on, this idea changed into living minimalism. People started to question the consumerist culture that ruled society in the early 2000s, which is when minimalism became popular as a way of life. They wanted a life that was less complicated and more meaningful, without all the things that come with it. This is where the modern minimalist movement got its start. It's a reaction to the excesses of capitalism and the search for happiness beyond material wealth.
When you shop on Amazon.com, there's a good chance you're buying from an independent seller like Kyle. He had to move back in with his parents to launch his dog treat business, Paws Truck, but customers weren't biting. Then Kyle used Amazon marketing tools to get the word out. Now, instead of his warehouse looking like this, it looks like this. A bustling facility in Kansas and 50 team members, none of whom are his parents.
Hi, Mom.
The fundamental principles that underpin minimalism will now be discussed in greater detail. To begin with, minimalism is all about making things easier. It means getting rid of the extra, the pointless, and the annoying things so that you can focus on what really counts. This could mean getting rid of junk in your house, making your schedule more manageable, or even cutting back on social media. Making a space in your mind and body that shows your values and priorities is what it's all about. This is the second core principle, being mindful. Making choices about what to keep and what to let go of is an important part of minimalism. It's not just about getting rid of things. Does this add value to my life? Does this align with my goals and values? Is what intentionality means. It means living with a purpose instead of just sliding through life. It's about making decisions that show what kind of life you want to live. In the third aspect, quality is more important than number. People in a consumerist culture are often told that more is better. This idea is questioned by minimalism. Less isn't better just for the sake of less. It's about having the right things. Instead of collecting a bunch of useless things, it's better to put your money into good things and relationships that will last. Let's look at the many advantages of leading a simple lifestyle while keeping these principles in mind. To begin, minimalism can help you think more clearly. Getting rid of trash and other things that get in the way can help us concentrate and be creative. Not having to deal with the chaos around us frees up our minds to think more clearly and make better choices. Financial freedom is another huge gain. By planning what we buy and putting quality over number, we can cut down on spending a lot that isn't necessary. There may be savings, less debt, and the ability to spend money on meaningful activities and hobbies. The environmental impact of minimalism is also favorable. Our carbon impact gets smaller when we use less. Making and throwing away things are two of the main things that hurt the earth. We are not only making our own lives better when we choose to live with less and make decisions that are good for the world when we do so. As with any trend,
one of the most well-known and famous Stoic philosophers of all time is Marcus Aurelius. He was seen as one of the last 5 great Roman emperors of his time, where he ruled from 161 to 180 after Christ. At the time, he held one of the most powerful positions in the world, and if he wanted, he could access all of his temptations and desires and have them fulfilled. But he chose to devote his life to pursuing justice and fairness. Aurelius found the time while he ruled to write Meditations, a collection of autobiographical writings that has grown to be one of the most important pieces of the Stoic philosophy. In his writings, Marcus provided instructions for personal development. These were mostly concerned with adopting a cosmic viewpoint and critically evaluating your judgment of others and yourself. Aurelius utilized his own Stoic philosophy when ruling a strong empire that endured several battles to let go of tension and worry, and to be the most capable and dependable leader he could be. Next to that, Stoicism is not only a theory, it is also a highly well-known and centuries-old philosophy that shows an inspiring and motivating way of thinking and living. The Stoics had a strong belief that acting morally was the key to achieving personal satisfaction, and that acting morally required good judgment and reasonable thought. With that in mind, in this video we will discuss how to create a rational mind using 5 key concepts from Marcus Aurelius's teachings that can help you think more clearly. Lesson 1. Train your perception. Marcus Aurelius says, "Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been." Controlling your perspective is one of Stoicism's most important values. Every interaction we have, every event we go through, every person we meet, even the scenes we view, all receive a value judgment from us. It was either good or awful, dull or enjoyable, beautiful or ugly. Unbeknownst to us, this is an extremely draining practice that might negatively impact our lives. For instance, judging every interaction you have had on a difficult day makes the day in general seem much worse. If you describe a party you attended as boring, that's all it will be. That one dull moment throughout your week. We frequently allow our emotions to dictate our early assessments of things, which implies that they are probably not totally unbiased. Additionally, we have a propensity to speak in metaphors and exaggerations that make situations appear worse. which goes hand in hand with our predisposition to criticize every minute of our lives. If your spouse leaves you, you could refer to your ex as having broken your heart, rather than admitting that they no longer feel the same way about you. Your feelings are influenced by the way you think and speak. The way you unknowingly choose to think about the incident, rather than the event itself, is what gives you negative feelings. In contrast, the Stoics advise individuals to use caution while making decisions and to carefully consider all they experience. One approach to being careful is to reverse your judgments, which simply means to look past them, be able to forget your initial instinct, and view anything through a more positive and rational lens. You may try to reframe that dull party as an opportunity to explore a different location and interact with some new people. Make an effort not to judge others. Afterward, you could realize that nobody truly connected with you, but you didn't go into the situation expecting anything bad to happen. The best way to begin retraining your perspective on life is to practice not judging everything based on your first impulses and feelings. Every time you have an opinion on something, try to ask yourself, is this rational? What is the foundation for my opinion? Is there a more accurate or optimistic interpretation of this? Marcus Aurelius emphasized that damages can only exist if they are thought of as such. This implies that each difficult event you have had looks more difficult than you think it is. As a result, you are in total control of the degree to which certain circumstances influence you. The Stoics also remind you to look for the opportunity or source of good in any negative event. The task known as turning the obstacle upside down is a method of developing a Stoic perspective. For example, you could experience dissatisfaction if a new employee is a slow learner and their errors reduce the company's profitability. This employee gets in the way of your efforts to be successful, efficient, and profitable. But this situation can also present an opportunity for good. You will get the chance to develop your patience, become a better instructor, learn how to integrate new employees into the team, and practice handling stressful situations. All of these abilities should help you make more money in the long term and be valuable in the future. On this topic, the classic quote from Marcus goes, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Overall, if you take the time to look at things objectively rather than exaggerating what you see, you can discover that life is simpler and clearer than you had previously imagined. Every scenario can be seen more positively or negatively. After you make the necessary mental adjustments, nothing will annoy you as much as it did, and you will navigate life much more successfully. Lesson 2. Learn to control your emotions. Marcus Aurelius encourages us to refrain from allowing our feelings to overcome what our minds are telling us. Put an end to your hypocrisy, selfishness, and irritability. It seems reasonable that acting irrationally is frequently represented as being in sharp contrast to acting out of emotion. Nothing may impair our judgment more than our own feelings. Therefore, if you wish to think properly at all times, one of the most crucial abilities to develop is the capacity to regulate your emotions. Marcus Aurelius believed that rage in particular does more harm than good. Contrary to common opinion, trying to regulate your emotions does not entail suppressing them. When you experience strong anger as a result of a betrayal, you cannot suppress it by denying it to yourself or others or by acting as though everything is okay. No matter how far inside you put the anger, it will still be present. According to the Stoics, regulating emotions like rage is accomplished by channeling them in a different direction. Therefore, when you next feel angry, consider what you can do with it. Although it may be tempting, can yelling at the person who injured you make things any better for you? Will it make the person you were deceived by any better? In other words, consider what you are inclined to do, then consider whether it is useful. If not, look for constructive ways to communicate your feelings. Perhaps if you gently discuss your feelings with the person who injured you and attempt to understand their perspective, you can get better outcomes. You may also write in a notebook, work out, play a video game, or do anything else that could help you release your anger eventually. Take anxiety or fear as an additional example. Although you can't just push it down, you can redirect it. Instead of allowing anxiety to paralyze you, you can use this anxiety to encourage yourself. Go do things that make you feel it, and observe its presence throughout. Let's assume you are too afraid to request a raise from your employer. Many individuals use this kind of anxiety as an excuse to avoid taking action and give in to their fears. Others might be able to handle it and view their worry as something that has to be suppressed and ignored since it is getting in the way of moving forward. Neither, though, has to be the case. Instead, you may express your fear in a healthy way, and it might even be beneficial. For instance, this anxiety causes you to contemplate everything that may go wrong, which may cause you to think about all the questions your supervisor might ask, all the arguments they might make against you, and how to reply. You may prepare yourself for them and create a strategy for every circumstance in this way. The fear, however, serves as a powerful motivator to push through, to test yourself, and to better yourself. To overcome your fear, partially because of it, take the step in order to show yourself that where you can. In such a case, you can be conscious of your fear the entire time and say, "How awesome that I'm trying this anyway." Your capacity to remain cool under pressure and to think clearly and wisely will never be hindered by your emotions if you can easily redirect powerful emotions. The secret to a more calm existence is emotional self-control. Lesson 3. Exercise the dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius says, "Only you have power over your own mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The dichotomy of control is the contrast between what we can control and what we cannot. For instance, you have no influence over the climate, the pace of traffic, or the opinions of others. However, you can have some control over your appearance, departure time, and the company that you surround yourself with. Anytime you are in a situation that makes you feel a certain way, ask yourself, what can I control? You should take action on whatever you can influence. Learn to accept and love what you cannot change without letting it influence you. You can quickly clear your thoughts if you can learn to differentiate between these two things and respond accordingly. The Latin phrase, amor fati, or love of fate, is a crucial component of the dichotomy of control. You will always enjoy life if you accept all of the circumstances that it provides. You cannot change your circumstances or avoid fate, but you can decide to enjoy your life no matter what. When you are denied a job you have been applying for years, you could believe there's no way out of this scenario. You tried to get the job, but you were unsuccessful. In this situation, pretending to love fate is impossible. This is a misconception, though. Investigate what caused the undesirable outcome and utilize it to your advantage to make a positive move rather than seeing the fact that you did not achieve your goal as merely a negative. It's possible that you failed and that's why you weren't hired. In that case, you have some influence over the situation. When a comparable chance presents itself in the future, you may improve upon those shortcomings and give it another shot. Other possibilities include nepotism or a personality conflict with a member of the hiring team as the cause. There's no use becoming outraged over something that has never existed since you never had control over it, which means the chance was never really there. Accepting fate entails detaching oneself from a predetermined conclusion, as well as external indicators of success. If, for instance, you want to be a writer and gauge your success based on how many copies of your book are sold, you will allow the arbitrary book market of the time to determine your level of success. However, you are in charge of your success if you decide to gauge it based on your level of satisfaction with the final result or the amount of effort you put into it. So by all means, make sure to do everything you can to reach your goals, but never lose sight of the chance that you may not succeed in doing so, and embrace this possibility in advance. One will find themselves calm if they focus exclusively on the things they can control and make a commitment to accept everything else as it is. Love fate no matter what happens. Lesson 4. Embrace the virtues. Quoting Marcus Aurelius, "Delve deep within yourself, for a wellspring of goodness is ready to gush forth if you persist in your quest." A virtue can be thought of as a quality of character, or to put it another way, morally righteous conduct. Such actions are advantageous to you, the people around you, and the greater good. Stoicism believes in an interconnected cosmos in which everything and everyone is linked. As a result, what helps the greater good eventually benefits you. Thus, the Stoics felt that individuals who were most in tune with reason were those who committed themselves to the greater good. In other words, they practiced their virtues. The absence of good behavior, on the other hand, is attributed to ignorance by the Stoics. When life throws you into unexpected situations, virtues may be your guiding lights, keeping you on track and grounded. This is why those who are best gifted with virtue frequently exude peace and tranquility. To be virtuous, one must internalize Stoicism's 4 cardinal virtues: knowledge, justice, bravery, and temperance. Wisdom is the ability to distinguish between what is good, what is bad, what is neutral, and everything in between. It means letting reason dictate what is ethically correct rather than emotions. When faced with a problem, knowledge enables you to weigh both possibilities objectively. Justice depends on wisdom, which is an allegiance to what is fair and equal for both oneself and others. The Stoics saw it as a duty to oneself, one's fellow people, and society as a whole: courage. The third virtue allows people to act even when they are afraid. It motivates you to act for the greater good or complete activities despite the uncertainty of the consequences. Courage does not imply the absence of fear, desire, or anxiety, but rather the deliberate decision to keep going and conquer emotional boundaries. Temperance, often known as moderation, refers to keeping a balanced route between extremes. It requires self-control, restriction, and discipline. Temperance prioritizes long-term well-being over short-term pleasure. Consider this simple example: a bag of chips. Consuming the full bag may provide temporary pleasure, but it jeopardizes health and even mood. Temperance in this context is halting after a few bites. Wisdom is useful in determining how much to consume before quitting. Stoicism divides objects and behaviors into 3 categories: good, evil, and indifference. Seeking the good, avoiding evil, and accepting indifference were fundamental values. Deviating from these values was connected with encouraging evil, for example, stealing, rudeness, and recklessness, or refraining from good. Indifferent behaviors, such as a leisurely stroll, accomplished neither. These principles provide more than simply personal improvement. They cultivate a condition of calm composure. Aligning your activities with these characteristics assures that you constantly travel the road of righteousness, led by reason, and so create a calm mind. Lesson 5. Embrace a broader perspective. Marcus Aurelius brilliantly reflects Plato's wisdom in our final quote: "Whenever you want to talk about people, it's best to take a bird's eye view and see everything all at once." Adopting a broader perspective is a crucial part of attaining mental clarity. In the middle of life's rush and bustle, we frequently find ourselves consumed by every concern. Each struggle feels as if it holds the weight of the world. Consider yourself in a small group of people. It may look like the entire city is drowning in traffic. However, adjusting your perspective a few steps away might show an altogether different world. In essence, when we separate and observe the enormous tapestry of our universe and life, we realize how insignificant our own experiences are in the larger scheme of things. This shift in viewpoint reveals the vast environment that lies beyond our immediate communication. People frequently forget the fact that their own experiences and perspectives aren't the only ones worthy of attention, even within their own lives. Consider someone who has had a bad experience with pets. Unless people deliberately embrace the potential of different experiences, they may find it difficult to comprehend that dogs may be valued friends to others. It's important to take a step back now and again and ask yourself, what am I missing or failing to understand? This introspective practice has several advantages. Consider the possibility of having to choose between staying in your current position or seeking a newly open opportunity elsewhere. Such a choice may appear difficult, especially if you are unsure whether either alternative will meet your goals. While your current position provides security and you are nervous about the increased duties that come with a promotion, the allure of a higher salary entices you. You may feel trapped in this situation. However, beneath the surface, there is a wealth of untapped potential. Have you considered going into a whole other industry or starting a side business to go alongside your current job? Perhaps you can shift your attention away from less enticing tasks by immersing yourself in a hobby. It's absolutely possible that many untapped paths in life are going unnoticed by you. Adopting a broad perspective rather than focusing primarily on present problems helps greatly in making informed decisions. Broadening your scope is useful not only for choosing priorities but also for forming your thoughts in order to build a complete judgment. It is critical to analyze all aspects and options in a particular circumstance. Furthermore, standing back means removing yourself from personal prejudices and opinions. Momentarily giving up your goals might provide a new perspective, encouraging you to think about others around you and your duties to them. In the heat of the moment, an action like littering may appear unimportant. When you pause and broaden your view to include the entire globe and the possible implications if everyone followed this example, the insignificance of your tendency to litter becomes shockingly apparent in comparison to the planet's well-being. As previously said, the Stoics believed that everything in the world is interrelated, and that the well-being of the world increases your personal well-being. Thus, when faced with a decision, difficulty, challenge, or change in life, it is extremely important to take a step back and look at the world as a whole rather than just your life. You can internally ask yourself some questions, either now or at a later moment. For example, when going for a stroll or vlogging about your day. This was something Aurelius was really fond of. The most typical questions to ask oneself are, what are the long-term consequences of my decision or action? How may someone else's point of view be different from mine? Do I know someone in a comparable circumstance or with comparable objectives to mine who might help me? Does my decision or action have an impact on my well-being? Does it have an impact on the well-being of others around me? Is there anything else I should think about? Taking the time to consider all aspects of the world helps you understand your actions, thoughts, life, and choices more clearly. And it helps you in the way that it allows you to help the world. When you consider the whole picture, you will always have an overseeing view that leaves you free from unnecessary restraint, bias, or doubt. That was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. We really hope this video has given you the tools to improve your mindset. Please subscribe if you want to see more. Is there anything missing that you would love to see next? Please let us know in the comments section. If you have watched the video until the end, please respond with MMM, Master Motivational Mindset, so we can connect. Want to see more? On screen, the next video will come up that could help you further in your Stoic and personal journey. One of the most well-known and famous Stoic philosophers of all time is Marcus Aurelius. He was seen as one of the last 5 great Roman emperors of his time, where he ruled from 161 to 180 after Christ. At the time, he held one of the most powerful positions in the world.
Knee pain? Scan? Plan? Now you can. Ask your doctor what NACO robotic-assisted knee replacement surgery can do for you. Surgery carries risk. Recovery results vary. Revision surgery may be required. Visit NACOCAN.com to learn more.
Throughout the journey of life, we're often surprised by challenges and tough moments that, at times, can completely engulf us. These situations aren't exclusive to one person or another. They're a common part of the human experience. It's easy to get carried away by the notion that life should be an endless sequence of joys and pleasures, yet this expectation often deceives us. Facing setbacks is a fundamental part of our growth and personal development. Each challenge brings opportunities to learn, grow, and strengthen our resilience. While it may seem difficult in the moment, overcoming these difficulties is what shapes you and makes you stronger for what lies ahead. It's important to remember that we're not alone on this journey. There are always people willing to offer support, be it friends, family, or even specialized professionals. Sharing our struggles and seeking help when needed isn't a sign of weakness, but an act of courage and wisdom. Accepting that tough times are part of life's journey allows us to face them in a more balanced and conscious way. These situations challenge us to find internal resources that we often didn't know we possessed. Life, in its natural course, constantly challenges us, and there are moments when we're confronted with situations that seem to test our limits in a unique way. Although it's tempting to avoid such moments, the truth is, as humans, we possess the intrinsic ability to deal with the emotions and challenges that arise in our path. It's interesting to observe how our ability to manage these difficult situations varies from person to person. Some seem to handle them more calmly, while others may feel the weight and intensity of each obstacle overwhelmingly. There's no manual that teaches us how to navigate these turbulent waters of emotions. It's as if we're all learning to surf in a rough sea without ever having had a lesson. However, despite the absence of this guide, each challenge offers us an opportunity to enhance our ability to deal with life's complicated situations. It's in these moments that we discover the strength that lies within us, often hidden by the routine and comfort of everyday life. Like a fearless explorer, we face unknown territories when confronted with difficulties. And it's in this context that temperance, one of the 4 Stoic virtues, emerges as a guiding light. It not only helps us understand the importance of emotional balance, but also invites us to cultivate serenity amidst the storm. Now, I'll make room to delve into the nuances of this age-old virtue that, even in modern times, carries with it timeless wisdom. By understanding and integrating temperance into our lives, we're capable of navigating more smoothly through the turbulent waters of challenges, turning them into opportunities for growth and the discovery of our own inner strength. Therefore, in this video, I'll talk about temperance, one of the 4 Stoic virtues. For that, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a sovereign who summoned the wise men of his court and expressed, "I sent the making of a precious ring, studded with a diamond, to one of the most skilled jewelers in the region. I wish to hide some meaningful words within this ring, words that can sustain me in the most difficult moments, a message I can turn to when all seems lost. Furthermore, I wish for this message to serve as guidance for my heirs and generations to come. It needs to be concise enough to fit around the diamond on my ring." Everyone who heard the desires of the king were erudite sages capable of writing extensive treatises, but devising a message of 2 or 3 words that could fit around a ring's diamond was a challenging task. However, they pondered and searched through their volumes of philosophy for long hours, without finding something that met the expectations of the powerful monarch. The king had a servant close to him, a man who was not wise, erudite, or scholarly, but who had a unique wisdom. This man had served the king's father and taken care of him after his mother's death. He was treated as part of the family and had gained everyone's respect. Therefore, the king also consulted him. The servant said, "I am not a man of great wisdom or knowledge, but I know the message." The king asked, "How do you know it?" The servant replied, "During my long stay in the palace, I met people from all walks of life. Once I met a master who was a guest of your father, and I was in his service. Upon departing, as a gesture of gratitude, he entrusted me with this message." At that moment, the man wrote the message on a tiny piece of paper, folded it, and handed it to the king, instructing, "Do not read. Keep it in the ring and open only when in a hopeless situation." It didn't take long for this moment to arrive. The country was invaded, the kingdom threatened, and the king was fleeing on horseback to preserve his life while his enemies pursued him. He found himself alone, surrounded by numerous pursuers. Eventually, he reached a place where the path ended, facing a cliff and a deep valley. Falling would mean certain death. He couldn't go back, as the enemy blocked his way. The sounds of galloping horses, voices, and the proximity of the enemies were audible. It was then that the king remembered the ring. He took out the paper, unfolded it, and found a concise message, yet of immeasurable value at that moment. "This too shall pass." At that exact moment, an inexplicable calmness enveloped him. The enemies who were pursuing him seemed to have gotten lost in the forest or taken the wrong path. However, what prevailed was absolute silence. The king felt deep gratitude for the servant and the unknown master, Those words had turned out to be miraculous. He folded the paper, placed it back in the ring, gathered his army, and reclaimed his kingdom. On the day of victory, a grand celebration took over the city, filled with music and dance. The king felt immensely proud at that moment. Once again, the servant at his side said, "Noble king, the time has come to reread the message contained in the ring." The king asked, "What do you mean?" "Currently, we're experiencing a moment of euphoria and joy. People celebrate my return. We've defeated the enemy." The servant clarified, "The value of this message transcends desperate situations. It applies equally to moments of triumph. It's not intended solely for moments of defeat, but also for those of victory. It's not exclusive to moments of lesser significance, but to those of greater prominence." The king opened the ring and read the message. "This too shall pass." Once again, he felt the same serenity, the same silence amidst the crowd in celebration and dance. However, the pride, the ego, had vanished. The king fully understood the message. The bad is as fleeting as the good. Then the servant concluded, "Remember, everything passes. No event or emotion is permanent. Just as the cycle of day and night, there are moments of joy and sadness. Accept them as elements of the duality of nature, for they are intrinsic to the very nature of things." Understanding emotions as something transient is one of the keys to dealing with the complexity of human feelings. Reflecting on the impermanence of emotions leads us to a profound understanding that, just like joy and sadness, all emotions have their time and place in the journey of life. It's interesting to note how, throughout existence, we experience a wide spectrum of emotions. From exuberant happiness to the deepest sadness, each one of them has its fleeting nature. Just like the seasons of the year, they come and go, leaving their mark on our lives. When we find ourselves immersed in a challenging emotional state, it's crucial to remember that this experience is not eternal. Sadness, despair, or any other painful feeling we may be experiencing, however intense, will not remain forever. This awareness allows us to find a space of acceptance that isn't passivity, but rather a recognition of the inherent impermanence of all things. Acceptance doesn't mean agreeing with what's happening, but rather acknowledging that there are aspects of life beyond our control. It's in this recognition that we find a way to deal with emotions in a more balanced manner without being overwhelmed by them. By understanding the ephemeral nature of emotions, we open ourselves to the possibility of living more fully and consciously. It's in this space of acceptance